Hey guys, welcome back to Makeup Savage Miss. I hope you guys are having a wonderful holiday season. Today I am filming a tag video created by my friend Heather Austin and Mandy Lee. They did this video kind of early on in Vlogmas where they recommended some giftable palettes that would make awesome gifts. They also did different price points and things like that, and I thought that was such a fun idea that I had to do it myself. So I will go ahead and link both of those wonderful ladies' videos down in the description box. And if you guys are curious to hear what palettes I would gift in this season of giving, well, just keep watching. If you are new to my channel, welcome. My name is Karen Harris. I love to film tan girl friendly makeup videos here on YouTube. When I first got on YouTube, I had such a hard time finding swatches and eye looks on people with my similar skin tone. So I decided to take matters into my own hands and start up a YouTube channel. If that sounds like something you'd be interested in, I would highly recommend subscribing and turning on your post notifications because I post quite often and I would hate for you to miss any of my new uploads. Now, without further blabbering, let's get into the video. Okay, if you're new, you probably have not met my handy dandy YouTube notebook. I like to make notes on here. So I have like 12 palettes written down and I'm going to share them with you. Some of these I own, some of these I don't own, but I feel like they would make such perfect gifts for my friends. So these aren't palettes I would necessarily own myself, but I would think of my friends' taste in makeup and think that these palettes would be perfect for them. So I hope that kind of makes sense. And that being said, the first palette I did pick was the Anastasia Beverly Hills Mini Soft Glam palette. I think this palette would be such a wonderful gift for one of my friends. First of all, the ABH formula is one of my favorites. It's been one of my favorite formulas for a long time. So even though I've tried so many new formulas this year and I've fallen in love with so many different eyeshadow palettes, I feel like ABH has always had good quality, blendable, pigmented eyeshadows, and I feel like their color stories are very approachable. So I think the Mini Soft Glam palette is a very smart release for holiday. Do I wish they had done something for me, like something new and fun and festive? Absolutely. But I also think that for some of my friends that maybe don't watch makeup YouTube, this might be a perfect palette for every day, glam, daytime. Like, it's such a versatile palette. So I think it is a fabulous giftable palette, and the price point is great too because it is under $30. Now, the next palette I picked, I do actually have with me. I must confess, I don't reach for this one a lot, but I think that's why it's such a perfect giftable palette. So, I know a lot of us started off with the Urban Decay Naked palette. I have the original Naked palette. It was gifted to me for my birthday and Christmas time by one of my dear friends. So, I think that this is that same goodness of the original Naked palette, but kind of a little bit more updated in the Naked Honey format. Again, I just love the Urban Decay Naked series because it's an approachable palette. It's easy to find. I think these are on sale right now. I think they were like half price on Sephora the last time I checked. And I just feel like this palette has everything a beginner or even somebody that really likes makeup needs for their day-to-day eyeshadow palette application. Most people, maybe not everybody that watches this video, but most people that are shopping for makeup this time of year are looking for something that's a good deal, that's gonna last them throughout the year. They're not buying a palette or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 every week like I am. They're just buying one palette a year. That's how I started off in makeup. I would buy maybe like one palette every couple of months. So I think this is a solid recommendation, and Urban Decay is really well known for their Naked palette, so I think you can't go wrong with this guy. Okay, so this palette I think would be kind of in your intermediary level, or maybe somebody that is super skilled in makeup but they would still appreciate it. So I picked the Supreme Nudes palette from Artist Couture. So this is, I think, around the $50 range. I don't think it's quite the $50 range, but this palette I feel like is a little bit more indie in most people's minds. Like most people probably haven't heard of Artist Couture unless they've watched like a little bit of YouTube, or they're a little bit more kind of brave and checking out new brands and stuff like that. I think most consumers in makeup tend to stick to the brands they see at Sephora, the brands they see at Ulta. So I think of a regular person, they're probably shopping like Morphe or Too Faced, Tarte. Those are like the big brands we see everywhere. So I feel like Artist Couture, you might not want to take that leap and try it, but we all know that the quality of this palette is so good, so beautiful, so pigmented. So I think that if I had a friend that was like medium interested in makeup, I would be very happy to gift them a palette like this because it's so beautiful, easy to use, and it just has sophistication, which I love. And of course, all of my friends are like in the 30 to 35 age range, so I would want to get them something a little bit nicer and something they can like travel with easily, but also it's not like made cheaply, if that makes sense. So I really like this guy for that. I will say I did pick all neutral palettes basically for this video because, again, I tried to really think of it from somebody that's not me's perspective, and I feel like these are the type of eyeshadow palettes that somebody that's the opposite of me would pick. So that's why I'm mentioning the ones I'm mentioning, and I also tried to give you different price points, different brands, and things like that. So I hope this is actually helpful to you guys and I'm not just rambling off brands that nobody's ever heard of. I really tried to keep it very contemporary. So another really nice brand, and this one you would want to get somebody that you really want to spoil. They're really special because this palette is about $65. I feel like that is a pretty up there in price when it comes to a gift for a friend. Obviously, everybody has a different budget. I would say $65 in my price range is a pretty nice gift for a friend. Like, they'd have to be a pretty good friend. So I really like this palette. This came out in the summer of 2020. And although I was like, she made a neutral palette, my second thought was, oh my gosh, that's going to be so stunning on my skin tone. So I think this would be such a nice palette for somebody with a medium tan skin tone, and it's very flattering. I love the shade Deep Dive. It's a beautiful cream to matte eyeshadow, and it's so beautiful and easy to blend. So I love that for us. Her shimmers are so beautiful. I love this packaging, and yeah, it's a little bit of a nicer gift. So I really like this palette, and that's why I want to put it on my list. Okay, the next palette I feel like is one that a lot of people are already going to be getting for the holidays, or you've already picked this up. And I surprised myself 100% when I bought this palette. I would have never imagined that I would have picked up the Too Faced Pumpkin palette in 2020. But listen, this is the year where things just flip-flopped all over the place, and I'm not mad at this palette. It still smells like something delicious like vanilla or something, but I mean, come on. When you think of holidays, this palette, like, I'm not the one to say, like, buy something for packaging, but dang, she's so cute. And I love the look I created with this palette. It's such a fun palette. I mean, it does have a bit of color, like not for my level of colorfulness, but I feel like for a regular person, there is enough color in here. Like this shade Oh My Gird is so pretty. There's some more burgundy shades in here. I think this is a really fun, very giftable palette. I think any of my friends would be so excited to receive this as a Christmas gift. Okay, so now I'm gonna give you guys a palette that is a good price. It's a little bit fancy, it's perfect for the holidays, and it's gonna be so great for a makeup beginner, and this is such a giftable item. So I'm showing you guys my Sigma Beauty Rendezvous eyeshadow palette. They have this available on its own, or you can buy it in a set. It comes with a beautiful bag. You can also get it with their blush. Like, there's so many different ways that they have this available on their website. But the reason I picked this is because it's wonderful quality, So easy to use. Again, this is such a simple palette. For me, this is like very, very basic, but I feel like even though it's basic, it has some beautiful metallic shades that are really gonna serve somebody so well, especially at Christmas time, but even on the day-to-day. If I only had like one eyeshadow palette and this was it, you guys know my eyes would be looking fly every day of the week. I mean, it would be neutral and slightly boring, but I mean, I still think this really pulls out a very beautiful, sophisticated eye look. So I could totally see myself gifting these to friends, and I really like this palette so, so much. It's really boring. Trust me, I'm not gonna lie. It's not for somebody that wants to play with a ton of color, but how convenient is this little guy? You throw it in your makeup bag, you can take it with you, you can touch up your eyeshadow if you want, you can travel with it, you don't have to worry about it getting broken or bumping it because it's really nice hardy packaging and it's so tiny, which makes it perfect in my opinion. Okay, so the next one is also kind of like for the person that would buy something like Artist Couture. They're curious about makeup, they're willing to try new things, but they kind of still want to be neutral. I feel like the side-by-side palette from Nabla would be such a good neutral palette for a gift. This palette is beautifully packaged. There's some very easy, non-scary shades in here. If you want to amp it up, you can use this row to do some cool tone looks. But oh my gosh, this is such a beautiful palette. It has a nice mirror. Packaging is nice. It's an Italian indie brand. But the best part is that you can find this in store or Ulta online, and you can like use a coupon. So again, I did try to suggest palettes that were easy to get a hold of. I didn't pick anything from brands that were overseas only because I feel like with shipping being so slow these days, if you want to get something quick, like we're not that far away from Christmas at this point. If you want to get something quick, you're probably not going to have a lot of good luck getting something from like an indie brand, you know, in another country. So that's why I'm trying to recommend things that you can go to your local Sephora and find most of these palettes, or you can order it online pretty quick and not worry about not getting it in time because listen, Christmas isn't that far away, so you guys better get it together. Okay, here's another one. I think this would be one of the more wild palettes. This one is definitely gonna, you know, give some people a little bit of anxiety. They're gonna get a little scared because there's a lot of shades, but I mean, come on, the Naughty palette by BH Cosmetics. This is such a great price point and you get all of these beautiful eyeshadows. And yes, it's a holiday themed palette, but I still feel like you could get so many looks out of this that won't just limit you to holiday. BH has been killing it with their eyeshadow formula, so you can get this on the BH website. I know their shipping is a little bit slow, but I swear Ulta has really been picking up on their shipping. I usually get my Ulta orders way quicker now, and I'm sure that you could probably find this in store as well. There's also a smaller palette called an Ice palette. I wasn't really interested in that one, but I feel like what a fun gift for a friend. It looks very nice and it's well packaged. You could wrap this or you could just slap a bow on it and make it such a wonderful giftable palette. I use this twice on my channel so far, and the red eyeshadow look I did with this for my 8K video is so one of my favorite looks. Like, so one of my, is that even correct English? It's one of my favorite looks I've done this year, and I was shook. I was shook. I've tried so many good BH palettes in 2020, but this one, oh my gosh, so fun to play with. Okay, so the next one I want to suggest is not one that I own, but I think these would make awesome gifts. If you want to get your friend something, again, a little bit more indie, I got my friends the Bare Necessity palettes last year for holiday and they loved them. My friend, my best friend, she lives in California, and I just loved introducing her to ColourPop because I knew she would get so much use out of that palette. She's like my only friend that I know that actually hits pan on palettes because she uses her eyeshadow palette so much. And I remember she like thanked me for getting her the Bare Necessities palette. So I feel like she would love Stone Cold Fox. I think your friends would too. Again, another great palette, great price point. You get a ton of eyeshadow. Such a great deal. If you really want to spoil them, you can also throw in the brush set. I feel like that is such a generous gift to a friend. And the other palette I really like from them is called like Totally Taupe or Taupe Notch or something. It's this beautiful taupe palette that honestly looked so basic that I didn't want it. but I feel like it would make such a great gift again for a friend. There's also some beautiful Super Shock highlighters with that collection. So you can always buy a few different pieces from one collection and make up a beautiful gift. But I feel like as much slack and shade as I throw ColourPop, their neutral palettes are usually pretty bomb, and I think that makes them so giftable, especially during the holiday times. They have so many beautiful vaults and gift sets, so I would highly recommend giving those a second look if you have a chance to either pick them up at Ulta or order on ColourPop's website. Okay, I have 3 more left. So the next palette I want to talk to you guys about, you're probably already sick of hearing me recommend this palette, but the Pat McGrath Mega Celestial Divinity palette. This is for your friend that you love the most. She's your ride or die bitch. You want to get her something nice. You want to make her feel special. The Pat McGrath palette is where it's at. This palette is so stunning. Again, I don't know that I would necessarily gift this to a beginner because they probably don't know the whole backstory of Pat McGrath and why you love her so much like I do. But you could always spend some time telling your friends what this means to makeup lovers. Like, to me, Pat McGrath is a makeup artist. She is such an icon in the makeup community. So having something like this is like having a little piece of history, like having a little bit of Pat McGrath with you. And I'm such a big advocate for girl power in the beauty community. So the fact that she's a woman of color, all of that makes me so happy. And I don't know, it just makes me proud, you know, to see women like killing it and being the best they can be in their field. So it means a lot of those things to me, and I love that about Pat McGrath's brand. And so I think having something like this would be such a fun treasure, and I don't know, such a great way to spoil your friends. So I think this is the most expensive palette in my list of palettes, but I think this is such a beautiful palette. You would definitely want to give it to somebody that appreciates metallics, very vibrant, colorful, eye-catching shades. So obviously you guys know your friends better than I do, but I feel like this palette definitely needs a very specific kind of person. So I think this would be a great palette if you're doing like a makeup gift exchange where you're also getting something equally bougie, but that's just my opinion. You don't have to listen to me. Okay, the next palette. I just feel like so many people would be so happy to receive this palette. At Christmas time, we have another naughty palette. Who would have thought that we would have 2 naughty palettes in one video in 2020? Not me. I wrote this palette off when I first saw it launch. Everybody was making fun of this slippery shade, and honestly, I don't really know what's going on over there. I try to like pretend that pan doesn't exist, in my opinion, which it is kind of a waste, and I know people care about stuff like that, but to me, the rest of the palette really just like sings to my soul. These shades are, again, so flattering on tan skin, so if you have a brown friend, like, feel free to give them the Huda Beauty palette. Again, this one I think is $65, so it is a little bit of a higher price point, but it's nice packaging, beautiful colors, great quality. These palettes are made in Italy, so you know you're getting your money's worth. You're not paying for crap. And I just really like this palette. It shocked me. I didn't think I was gonna like it as much, and you guys really liked my video with this palette as well. So this is my number 11 recommendation for a giftable palette. So this is the palette I immediately thought of when I was thinking of palettes that I would love to gift, because I am planning on gifting this palette to my friend who loves makeup as well. This is the Sigma Essentials palette. And yes, is this a crazy palette that's gonna knock people's socks off? Probably not for you and me, but I just cannot wait to see my friend's reaction to this palette. I know she's gonna love it. It's got a beautiful highlighter, beautiful bronzer. Not really sure about this honeycomb shade, but I'm guessing if you're lighter, this shade would work for you. But this is like everything I love about Sigma. I love their neutral shadows. I love their metallics. This highlighter is gorgeous. It's nice and skinny packaging, easy to travel with. So what a great way to tell your friends that you love them during the holiday season, then something easy and compact for them to travel with when they come to see you. Oh my goodness. I just have had this palette in mind for my friend for so long. I've mentioned it so many times. I'm like, I have an extra one. Sigma sent me an extra one and I'm gonna give it to my friend because I know she's gonna love it. She loved the bunny palette so much. So I have a very specific person in mind to get my Essentials palette that Sigma sent me, and I'm so excited because I really feel like she's gonna love it. So I've already told her, I'm like, I have a palette for you, Missy. I don't know if my friends like hate the fact that I'm a YouTuber or they like the fact that I'm a YouTuber, but you know what? There could be worse problems in the world. So anyway, guys, that is it for my giftable palettes for the holiday season. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It was so fun to jibber jabber about palettes as per usual. Like I had mentioned, this is a tag video created by Heather and Mandy. So go ahead and check out their videos down in my description box. Please subscribe to both of them. I love both of their channels. I've been following both of them for quite some time now, and if you haven't subscribed to my channel already, please go ahead and do so. We are doing Makeup Savagemas, so there is a lot of content coming your way. Thank you guys for watching this one. Let me know your favorite palette that you've received as a gift. You guys know I love hearing all of your thoughts down in the description box, and I will see you in my next video soon. Bye, guys.